Hello. Today I'm going to demonstrate the prototype of Golden Eagle flight plan web application. It is implemented by the student Harsh Gadhia in the class CS520 as his class project. There are three user types in the system, which are called user roles. Administrators can manage departments and flight plans. We have pre-created an administrator with the username CYSung. Advisors can search students and access each student's plan, and will use an advisor account tfox to demonstrate. Each student can of course access their own plan, and we have two students' accounts, Zhang Dou and Zhen Dou. The role-based security we use allows a user to have multiple roles. This means that we can handle the cases like a student who works as a peer advisor at the advisement center, or a faculty who is an advisor but also serves as an administrator who's in charge of the department plans. Now I'll log in as the administrator user CYSung and demonstrate some administrator functions. So this is the administrator's interface. Oops. And on the left-hand side, we can see the navigation menu. And here are the two flight plans we have already created. And here are the two departments that are currently in the system. We can create additional departments. For example, let's say we create Department Civil Engineering, and here it is. We can click on a department and see the plans of the departments, and we need to explain a little bit about departments and plans. In the system, each student has a major, which corresponds to a department. Each department could have several flight plans. The reason for multiple plans per department is that we could have different plans, for example, for first-time freshmen and transfer students. Or we could have different plans for quarter system and semester system, or we could let some students to keep their old plans after a new plan is created, just like currently students could keep their old program requirements after major curriculum change. In any case, allowing a department to have multiple plans gives us lots of flexibility. Of all the plans a department has, only one of them can be designated as the current official plan of the department. This is the plan the new students will be using when they enter the system. A plan can be either published or unpublished. An unpublished plan basically means it's a work in progress and is not available to public. Now let's go back, and we can take a look at the current official plan of the CS department, which looks like this. And now let's create a new plan. So I'll call this plan, well, let's call it Flight Plan for CS version 2. And we'll create a plan that looks like this. So here, as we can see, we can add runways, stages, and checkpoints to the plan. So let's first add 3 runways: academic performance, career preparation, and leadership. We now have 3 runways, and let's add some stages. We'll add pre-college, freshman, sophomore. Okay, now we can add some checkpoints. I'll add a few checkpoints, for example, algebra, pre-calculus, attend the step, and then we'll add a couple of checkpoints that look more complex. For example, this one that says volunteer at one or more outreach events, ECST open house, method days, science bowl, and this checkpoints, as you can see, is actually a bullet point list itself. Okay, so let's add a few checkpoints. So we can select the runway and then the stage, and then we'll say algebra, and then we'll add pre-calculus, calculus, and then we'll add this one. It's in the freshman stage and the leadership runway. Okay, let's add leadership, freshman, and volunteer in one or more outreach events. And we can create a list, and the first one is ECST outreach, the second one is method day, the third one is science bowl, and we can add links to those events. In fact, we can add hyperlinks anywhere in the text. So for example, we'll create a link here that links to Cal State LA front page, and then save, and now we have this checkpoint here. Also notice that we can always edit any of the runways, stages, and checkpoints. For example, I can edit leadership and then change it to leadership and community engagement, leadership and community engagement, and we can even reorder the runways and stages simply by drag and drop. So I'm going to drag this one and drop it here. So now the leadership becomes the center column, and I can reorder freshman, and now freshman stage is before college, and I can reorder the checkpoints within a stage and a runway. So pre-calculus now is before algebra, and I can of course delete a checkpoint or edit a checkpoint, and then essentially do anything we want. Okay, so let's say that this is what our plan looks like. We can save the plan and then go back. Okay, so now we have this plan. Now all the departments are currently share all the plans, and if we want, we can add some selected plans to a particular department. For example, we go back to department, and then we see what are the plans currently in CS department. So right now, CS department has a plan called Golden Eagle Flight Plan, which is the current official CS plan, and we can add the plan we just created to CS. Now CS has two plans, and let's say that we want to make this new plan the official plan of CS. So simply click this one, and now it becomes the official plan for CS. Okay, so now let's log out and log in as a student. So I'm going to log in as one of the two pre-created students, John Doe. So a student can, of course, access their own plan, and after logging in, this is what John Doe's plan currently looks like. Notice that John Doe has already checked some of those checkpoints. Also notice that this student is still using the plan he was assigned to before, or in other words, the new plan we just created does not affect existing students. Now let's uncheck this and leave everything in the pre-college stage all checked. Now on the profile page, a student, in fact any user, can change their information such like first name, last name, middle name, and password. And in addition to that, they can also change their major. So if a student, for example, switches major, the student can simply select the department and then changes his or her major. Now, if we go back to the plan, we can see that now this student, John Doe, has changed his major to CS. His flight plan is now changed to the current official plan of the CS major, and it is the plan we just created. Now let's say that we checked these two checkpoints. Now let's log out and then log in as an advisor. So as I mentioned, we have an advisor account tfox, and I'll log in as tfox. Here, advisor can see a list of all the students in the system, and advisor can also search for the student. For example, advisor can search for John, and it will show the student who matches the search criteria. Searching can be done by first name, last name, CIN, and email. In addition to this basic search, the search function also supports so-called autocomplete, meaning that, for example, if I type J, then the system will search for all the students whose names start with J, and then we can simply select the student from the drop-down list, and will be taken directly to the student's plan. And notice that this is John Doe's plan, and we just checked these two checkpoints at John Doe. Advisor can check checkpoints on student's plan too. So suppose I'm an advisor and I just unchecked pre-calculus from the student's plan. This basically concludes our demonstration of the basic functions of our prototype. The main task for next quarter is to connect to the campus Active Directory so people can use their campus accounts to log in instead of creating another set of username and passwords. We'll also fine-tune some functions and user interface, as well as making changes based on the feedback we receive. We also plan to develop a mobile client in the summer quarter. So this is it. Thank you.